New Beginnings Toastmasters Club, please come to order. Well, welcome all Toastmasters and guests to our meeting this evening. I'm Lee Walker, the Sergeant at Arms. Again, just welcome all Toastmasters to our meeting, and I'll start us off with the invocation this evening. Well, we started our new, it's been almost a month. We started our new Toastmasters year, July 1, and our club is New Beginnings, and we're all working on some new paths, new beginnings, new way of doing things. And of course, the virus, the pandemic has kind of made us do that, forced us to do that. These Zoom meetings online, computers, phones, or cell phones. But we keep on, what that's taught us though, is to just keep on moving forward. Also with pathways, those of us that have been in Toastmasters a while, it's a new way of doing things. Pathways, it's all online on the computer. And you know, I got in a car wreck a couple of weeks ago, and still getting my car fixed, but I've been riding around in a rental vehicle and going to work. And you know, I was laid off for a few weeks. Then I got put back on weekends, and I got put back on my 5-day schedule. Now I'm up to 6 days because some people are not showing up or got personal issues. And you just got to keep moving on. And I work in a restaurant, and we were not closed down. We've remained open. We've had to pivot and turn things to Grubhub and Uber Eats. I'm really not familiar with those, but people are using those applications or apps. And our business is doing well. The restaurant is doing probably better now than it was when it was open. And the owner doesn't want to open the restaurant and have people come in and sit at tables 6 feet apart or whatever, because he won't make as much money. But you know, I hope that just gives some people some inspiration that, you know, things, we've just had to come up with new ways of doing things and just moving forward with the future and using technology and using the things that have come on board here in 2020 and in the future. So we'll move on to our next role, and we'll welcome our club president, Robert Riggs.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to New Beginnings Toastmasters. And thank you, Mr. DTM. Thank you, Lee Walker, for filling in at the last minute and doing the invocation. I think in the future, we might give you a little bit of fair notice that if there is no invocation slot filled, that's all you, buddy. That's all you. Now, you have the right to defer to the Toastmaster of the evening, whoever that may be, Zach. But Mr. Lee Walker, it's up to you to make that conversation happen. So I look forward to hearing your next invocation next week, right? Assuming we don't get anybody filled. Anyways, welcome to New Beginnings. Welcome, 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 welcome. This is New Beginnings Toastmasters. We are here because we are here to do speaking. We're here to do some leadership stuff, but mostly we're here to become better people. This is our time to learn about ourselves and to grow into this whatever direction that we want to grow in, that's hopefully positive. The idea of a new beginning is that it is number one, new, and number two, it's a beginning anew. You're beginning towards something better. So that's what we're trying to do here. We're giving speeches, you know, we're trying to get better at public speaking and leadership, but the idea is that by getting better as people, we have stuff to talk about. We have stuff that we can talk with each other and lead with. So that's what we're here to do. And tonight we have one heck of a regular meeting, but before we do that, I got a couple things I want to address. The first thing is pretty darn simple. We have officer training. Now, to be honest with you, I believe every one of our 7 officers actually got trained 3 weeks ago. So nobody's required to go to officer training for the next week or two. But if you want to see me do VPM training, I'm actually giving my VPM training on next Monday night. I think I'm the only trainer that night, actually. But if you just say, you know what, I can't get enough of Robert Riggs, come on out. There's a Zoom training via email. Maggie sent out about 37 emails regarding the training. So feel free to look at one of them, and there'll be a link there, and you can follow it towards my face, and you'll say, hi, Robert Riggs, VPM. And if you come to my VPM training, you will participate. This is a very interactive, you're going to get in there, you're going to think, you're going to talk to people, you can do this. So I recommend coming on out. If not my training, go to somebody else's training. So that's fine. We got a whole slate of officer trainings. Just pick one, have a good time. That's number one. Number two, if I'm not mistaken, there's this thing called dues. And I'm actually going to call on Jorning to go ahead and tell us all about the dues that are due.
Dues.
Ms. Jorning Picard.
Hello. So it's that time of the year for the dues, which is about $50 for 6 months and $100 for the year. Me and Robert will be reaching out to everyone, but we want to get that in because that's how we survive in Toastmaster. A little bit of money, right? Just a little bit. But just so that everybody knows that that's what we'll be doing for the next month or 2 months, is reaching out to each one of you through text message, through calls or emails, all of the above. But that's what Robert will be harassing you. I will be more pleasant about it, just so you know. Thank you.
For the record, the right word is trickster. I'll be a trickster about it. So, just joking though. As Cleo already said, oh boy. So yes, that is oh boy. That is correct, Cleo. So we're going to try not to be too pressure about it. I will say to Jay though, Jay, is it okay if you stay on after tonight? If I can get your dues, or maybe sometime next Wednesday? Is that okay? Either one? Perfect. So sounds good. So I got a couple list of people. She's got a couple list of people. We might ask you randomly at different times. So either way, it might be text, might be email. We might drive up to your house at 2 in the morning. We won't do that. But that's the idea, is that we're hoping to get the dues. So I think that's all we
will
have.
absolutely do that.
I will do that to Andrew Bullock only. So I look forward to having everybody. Anyways, we're going into this meeting thing. We've already said our 2 announcements. We're going into our regular meeting. It looks like we have everybody here tonight except for Tiffany. Who's going to be running a little late, though she did notify us via email. And I do not see any guests out there tonight. Somebody might think that T is a guest, but in fact, T actually signed up as a Toastmaster for our club last night. She signed up to our club. So if anybody would do me a quick favor, could we all give a standing round of applause to T, who's our newest member of New Beginnings. Congratulations. Come on, everybody, stand up. Congratulations, T. Thank you very much. You're going to love us, and I think you'll find that this was a very good decision to join New Beginnings Toastmasters. You get out of it what you put into it, and as you can see from everybody here, we get a fair amount out of it. So we look forward to hearing all your speeches in the future. So without further ado, I'd like to pass it over to the Toastmaster evening. This is his first time being Toastmaster evening, if I'm not mistaken. Is that right, Mr. Zach Phillips?
That is right, Mr. Riggs.
All right, awesome. Welcome to the lectern, the one, the only, the splendiferous, the fantabulous, the I love music, and so many other great things. He was just double fisting a couple beers a minute ago. That's that kind of person. But at the same time, he's the life of the party, and I am expecting every ounce of it tonight. Please welcome the life of the party, the one, the only, Zach Phillips.
Thank you so much, Mr. President. Thank you for the fact that I am not able to plug in my own wraparound microphone and headset. It gives me the opportunity to, focus in more on, what's going on tonight, a little bit more attention focused. And thank you for so many things, because tonight's theme is gratitude. Lee mentioned it quite a lot. Talking about, like the positives of, his work and how, things are actually picking up in speed. The fact that he has a car to drive, so many little things, so many big things. I'm thankful that this is my first time doing the Toastmaster of the evening. I have a quote here saying, acknowledge the good that you already have in your life is the foundation for all abundance. And that's Eckhart Tolle. And not only should we do that, just focus on the past and what you're grateful for, but, you should also sometimes be thankful for what you're going to receive in the future. So many good things to be thankful for. I hope everyone tonight has at least 1 or 2 things that they'll be thankful for as they get a chance to speak this evening. We got a great meeting this evening. We have 3 speakers and a delightful tabletop topics and some evaluations. my favorite part of the evening. So without further ado, I'll introduce the general evaluator, Andrew Bullock.
Good evening, everyone. How are you doing? And Toastmasters reevaluate everything. And when I say everything, I do absolutely mean everything. From the meeting, the preparation for the meeting, to the roles in the meeting, minor or major, everything is evaluated. And this is a huge job, and it falls on my shoulders. But I don't get to do it alone. I actually have help. Now, my first helper is actually our Grammarian odd counter who has not joined the meeting yet. But I will take this time to explain Tiffany's role when she does eventually join the meeting. The role of the Grammarian is to present a grammar lesson for us, teach us how to speak proper English, and keep track of both excellent and poor uses of the English language as we proceed with the meeting this evening. And as odd counter, there's those little filler words that we like to use, like ooh, so, you know what I mean? You feel me? And they give us a little tally mark, and they give us a report at the end of the meeting about how often we use those filler words. Our next role is filled by Miss T. Greer. Welcome to Toastmasters. And she is our word master and listen up. So T, will you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure. Hey, the word is kismet. It's Kismet, and it's the definition is fate. One sentence that pulled up was, I don't know if it was kismet or good luck, but the person won the lottery. And it really just pretty much means fate. It's another word, and it's Kismet.
All right. And tell us about your role as listen up. Still there with us, T?
I'm there. I'm sorry. Is there anything? Yes, that was the word. Is there anything else you need from me?
The listen up role.
Oh, the listen up role. So he told me at the end, I just have to pretty much write down what everyone said, and then I would question if we can remember who said the statement, right?
That's right.
Okay, so yes, I'm ready for that. I'm writing stuff down.
All righty. That's right. You start before the speeches.
Yeah. Oh, I wasn't supposed to do that.
No. I'm saying you can absolutely start before the speeches.
Oh, I can. Okay, good. Okay, thank you.
You can even ask, what color tie am I wearing? In my picture.
Trick question, you're not wearing a tie.
Okay.
In the picture, I am. All right. Our next role is the timer, and that role has been filled by Lee Walker, DTM. Tell us about your role this evening.
You're muted.
Okay, I think I'm unmuted. All right. In Toastmasters, we time everything. We time our speeches, evaluations, and table topics. So tonight's speeches are 5 to 7. So at 5 minutes, I'll show the green card. At 6 minutes, yellow card. And in 7 minutes, the red card, and that'll remain. You'll have 30 seconds to wrap up. Evaluations are 1 to 2 minutes, 1 minute green card, 1.5 minutes yellow card, 2 minutes the red card. And then table topics is 1 to 2 minutes. 1 minute I'll show you the green card, 1.5 minutes the yellow card, and 2 minutes the red card. Mr. General Evaluator.
All right. And our last helper role of the evening, to keep us sharp, Jay Boscott is our topics master, and he's going to tell us a little bit about that. Mr. Boscott.
Hey, how you guys doing? I'm the table topics master. So pretty much I'll throw out a couple questions based off of the theme today, and everyone will get 1 to 2 minutes to just explain, just off the cuff, off the top of their head, their answer, and just whatever they could come up with, just to have 1 to 2 minutes to talk, to just experience being able to speak off the cuff as opposed to preparing a speech. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Jay. So, and after we go through all of our portions of the meeting, I will be back to get role reports from those helpers that just explained the roles. And also, I will give my evaluation of the entire meeting, which evaluates the Toastmaster evening, even myself, the evaluators as well. So I look forward to seeing you at the end of the meeting. Mr. Toastmaster.
All right, thank you so much, Andrew Bullock, General Evaluator. I'm glad that I don't have to do this meeting all by myself, and so I appreciate that whole entire concept that, you know, like I don't have to be General Evaluator, the president, the timer, and, you know, give a speech. It's, you know, it's just a lot of weight off my shoulders. But anyways, moving on with all of that, we're going to start with our first speech of the evening. His name is Franz Sampierre, I believe, and he's doing the Pathways Leadership Development, L1, Evaluation and Feedback number 2. It's a 5 to 7 minute speech. His speech title is Imagine. And our first speaker of the evening has selected a challenging topic and hopes to expose our relationship to each other. Please welcome to the lectern, Franz.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President, Toastmaster, and lovely guest. The topic is indeed a very 6 selecting a letter of word, but it has really given me a challenge on trying to expose a facet of it and clarity. So the title is Imagine. You have to forgive me. I have had the challenge on that, and therefore didn't really being able to memorize it as I usually do, but forgive me for having to be reflected on my notes. The opening statement is the way we think defined by our environment? And now I'm going to throw an open question to my favorite guest present. Where are we? Why are we here? And what are we doing about it? These questions are forever on our mind and ignored most of the time. We are on the planet Earth, suspended in space, orbited around the sun. Based on this truth, the first question is answered. Being here gives us the opportunity to evaluate our imaginations, such as our traditions provide a basis on realities to lead us to question where imaginations can manifest to conclusion. Being here give us, no, that is done. Well, imagine we accept this simple truth on existing on a planet instead on a nation. How far could we advance humankind? When we explore this idea, we collectively experience our individuality within the premise of love, and it is what, and it is, forgive me, really the reality that will allow us to understand each other as human. We need to think more on being a part of the human race rather than any particular group in order to become more flexible and lovable to each other. 3 phases that I have really included within my being is, the first one is life as we know it is nothing but the limitation we place on ourselves. The second one is when we embrace changes, our capacity expands beyond measures. Nature, our perfect teacher, demonstrates that changes is a must in this world. Well, what am I doing about it? I'm paying more attention to every word sounded through my lips be for a constructive purpose. Number 2, accepting the fact that my liberty depends upon others' freedom. Nothing is done to me, but everything is done for me. In conclusion, a passion for living rises from an awakened imagination and live it by the God's force. The illuminated person think in terms of discovery and accomplishment, because cannot and impossible are meaningless words for him. This is your life. Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster.
All right, thank you so much, Franz. That was such a great, thoughtful speech, and I really love it. Well executed. You know, you always have such a loving, warm, positive personality, and that really showed in your speech. So without further adu, can we get a 1-minute feedback to Franz? If you want to go up to the upper right side of Franz, there'll be an ellipses, and you can chat with him and give him great feedback for his wonderful speech. Thank you. All right, that's 1 minute. Okay. Welcome, David Marshall. Thank you for coming to the meeting. And then without further ado, we're going to move on to our second speaker of the evening, Mr. John Gregory. I'm thankful that he's got that great sharp suit for his avatar picture. Maybe we can see him doing a video shortly. But I'm going to give the manual speech time. It's the Pathways Motivational Strategies. He's doing an L1 speech, evaluation feedback number 2, 7-minute speech. The title is Gardens and Graveyards. And the introduction is our next speaker. Sorry, I didn't mean to read that. Our next speaker would like to give you all a speech that will motivate you and inspire you. Please welcome John Gregory.
Hey everyone, how's it going? Oh, hold on, sorry. Sorry about that. When one door of happiness closes, another one opens. But often we look so long at the closed door that we do not see the one that has been opened for us. That was a quote by Helen Keller. We are running out of time. You wake up every single morning and decide to stay in bed. You wake up every morning and decide to push it off until tomorrow. You decide to ignore that dream. That is your dream. Nobody can take that from you. I don't care how hard life is hitting you. I don't care if you're struggling to pay your bills. I don't care if everyone you talk to tells you you're living in some fantasy. Life is hard. We are all going through a war right now. I'm sorry, but I refuse to wake up every morning and believe this is all my life was created for. The difference between a garden and a graveyard is what is put in the ground. Aren't you tired of wasting another day watching that graveyard of dreams grow? Those are your dreams. Those are your goals. That is your future. And it's dying. You cannot quit. You might not be the best at your work. You might not be the smartest. You might have had it harder than the ones around you, but you cannot quit. You deserve this dream. You deserve to grow a garden, not a graveyard. You deserve to live this life you always dreamed of. They might tell you that you cannot do it, that you're not good enough, that you are weak. Well, I'm here to say you are not weak. I give you permission to dream and pursue your dreams without limitations. Many of life's failures are people who did not realize how close they were to success when they gave it up. That was a quote by Thomas Edison. Your time is coming. Everything you ever dreamed about, it's not the life other people see for you. It's what was put inside of you when you arrived on this earth. There's a fire burning inside of your heart and it wants out. Friends, family, and the people you love will turn their back on you. You have to stand up when they give up on you. You have to fight back when this world hits you. They will try to get in your way. They will show their true colors when you are pursuing your dreams. Do not listen to them. Don't listen to them. Look in that mirror and see the unstoppable force of greatness that I know for a fact that you are. Realize it's temporary, all the pain that you're going through. Keep on pushing. When you feel like your voice isn't heard, or you're broken, or all alone, keep on pushing. This is a marathon, and I don't care how fast the other people are running, I will be unstoppable. And I swear when we cross that finish line and we look back on everything, you will know it was worth it. The people you had to let go of, it was definitely worth it. You might get knocked back in life, but you will grow if you keep on pushing in this life. Listen, I've had people stab me in the back all my life. My parents gave up on me. Friends turned their back on me. I was homeless, broken, and alone. But the situations that seem like the hardest are the blessings that bring us closer to success. I took the hand that was given to me and I told everyone I will achieve greatness. They would laugh and say, how are you going to achieve greatness? You're homeless. And I'd say, well, I'm unstoppable. How are you going to achieve greatness? You're just a failure. Well, I'm going to win anyway. How are you when you have nobody by your side? Everyone in your life has turned their back on you and you're just going to end up dead or in jail. Well, I promise you, all of you, that no matter what this life throws at me, I'm not going to stop. I'm going to keep pushing. And I swear to you, I will either succeed or I will die trying. Now go out there and grow.
Thank you so much, Mr. John Gregory, for that emotive, powerful speech. I really loved it. Such intensity and passion in your voice. I look forward to seeing you on the stage someday, and I'm thankful that this is the preview of speeches like that. Thank you once again. And can I get like a 1 minute on feedback for Mr. John Gregory? All right, great. Thank you so much, Mr. Timer. Our final speech of the evening is Jorni Bacala. It's a Pathways speech, Innovative Planning, L3, Present a Proposal. It's a 10 to 12 minute speech. And the speech title is Beyond Toastmasters. How do accountability buddies keep us accountabilitable? The answer may not be as complex as you think. Our next speaker is proposing how we can work with others to connect our goals beyond Toastmasters with our goals inside Toastmasters. Please welcome to the lectern, your accountability buddy. Can I get a timers report from Lee Walker, please?
Franz spoke 6 minutes, 47 seconds. John, 4 minutes, 48 seconds. And Jorny, 12 minutes, 24 seconds. So
Okay.
all three speakers qualify.
Great. Now let's bring up the poll for best speaker of the evening. All right, we're going to go right now to Robert Riggs.
So real quick, I just wanted to add one small thing to all of that, which was that Jorny has not officially achieved her L3. And the only reason that was not the case is because last Friday, the meeting was supposed to record and the audio didn't record. But this Friday, she's going to get a business meeting again where I'm actually going to evaluate it, and then she will get her L3. So even though it's not official yet, it won't happen during a meeting. So if we could do us a quick favor, we could all stand up for Jorny, who unofficially achieved her L3 tonight. Officially this Friday. And surprisingly, believe it or not, even though it's not, if you consider the fact that it's not official, that was the first time that we have not earned a single award in a meeting since June 2nd. It's been 9 weeks since our last meeting where we didn't earn an award. So think about that. Fantastic job, Jorny. Really good job.
All right, well, I'd like to thank you all for those great speeches, and we'll take a short break.
New Beginnings Toastmasters Club, please come to order. We'll be now moving into the table topics portion of our meeting. Let's welcome our table topics master, Jamard.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Sorry about that. I didn't think it was gonna come so quickly. Cool. I got all my questions right here. So the theme of today is gratitude, right? So we're gonna focus all of our questions and our ideas on the idea of gratitude and appreciation. So my first question would be, what are you grateful for? We'll start out pretty simple. What are you grateful for, and how would your life change without it? I'm gonna shoot this one to Hans. What's up, Hans?
Mr. Table Topics Master, what am I grateful for? I'm grateful for living here in the United States. First and foremost, it is by far, and this comes especially from an individual who grew up outside of the United States, the greatest country in the entire world. And out of the 190 or so countries in the world, I've visited in one time or another over my 55 years of life, about 155 of them. So I think I have a pretty good idea that this is the greatest country in the whole wide world. The second thing I'm grateful for is very simply the individual who's not right next to me. Not right now, but in my life. My wife, the rock, you know, in which I lean when things are not going well. But those are the two things that I am grateful for, Mr. Table Topics Master.
All right, nice. You know, the funny thing is, because most of us are like born here, like me myself, for example, we don't really appreciate the benefits that we have. I feel like Americans are some of the most, how do you say, like we talk the worst about our country, it seems. We don't realize how good we have it. You know what I'm saying? So good. That's a great thing to be appreciative about. A lot of other countries don't have the same freedoms that we do. So for my next question, what do you think most people take for granted and why? This goes out to David Marshall. So the question again is, what do you think that most people take for granted and why?
Table topics master. I think that most people take their families for granted because we live and work with our family every day. We eat with them, we wake up with them, we walk with them, we talk with them. But I think we get too used to being around them that we don't understand how much they really mean to us. And so I think we take them for granted that they are there for us, they love us, they care for us. And I think we get sidetracked and we get too internalized. We think too much of ourselves that we don't see what's going on around us. So I really think we take our families for granted, and I think we need to widen our scope of thinking and pay attention to what's going on around us. So just like you said, people who live in the US don't know how great they have it. Sometimes you're in your own household and you don't realize how good you have it in your own household. Thank you very much, Mr. Topics Master.
That's good. Yep. My first thought was the country that we're in, but I also, another great idea is family. And the funny thing is, like I said earlier, my family just came to visit me. I just moved to Virginia like a year ago, and I haven't seen them for a while. And it's usually those things that, you know, they said you never know what you have until it's gone. It's one of those things where if you see it every day, you take it for granted. But now I haven't seen my family in a year, and it's just amazing to see them again. I mean, after a day, I was sick of them, but, you know, it's just good to see them after such a long time, you know? So yeah, don't take people for granted. All right, so on Thanksgiving, we spend one day out of the year to say what we're thankful for. Why is it important to take the time to reflect on what you're thankful for? I'm gonna say that again. On Thanksgiving, we spend one day out of the year to say what we're thankful for. Why is it important to take the time to reflect on what you're thankful for? I'm gonna shoot this one to Robert Riggs.
Thank you, Mr. Table Topics Master. I think that reflection is another form of prayer. I think that reflection is a way that recenters our brain towards what is supposed to be the most present in our mind. Why is it important that we do this more than one day a year? Because honestly, I think we should. I think you said we only do it one day a year, but I think we should reflect constantly. I think that we should reflect not only on the situation at hand, but everything that pertains to it and everything connected to it in our lives. I can give you an example, well, several examples, but I'll give you one example where I was trying to achieve a goal, right? I was in college and I was like, I'm going to get this GPA and I'm going to, this semester I'm going to do this, this semester I'm going to do that. I was having a really rough semester, not in terms of my grades, but in terms of just the amount of time and energy that I had to put into my classes. It was actually like, I think the first semester of my junior year. And all I could think of was like, man, my life is just a constant slog. Like I maybe get like half a day or a full day, like a Friday night and a Saturday morning, and then maybe a Sunday morning to relax. But I feel like I'm working most of the time. And instead of focusing on the negative, I was able to reflect on that situation and be like, well, what am I really doing here? I'm in college to learn to become better as a scientist, as a thinker, as somebody who cares about others, as a leader, ultimately, because you have to use knowledge to lead. And I said, even though this is difficult, even though this is tough, I will overcome eventually, and eventually I will push forward with this. So in the moment, everything can be difficult, but if we reflect on those tiny moments or even large moments in our lives and realize there's a bigger picture here, reflection is important because you have to be willing to see the bigger picture and move beyond that immediate need to say, there's a bigger picture. That bigger picture will guide us beyond to what we're supposed to be doing. Reflection takes us from the minute to the greater good, and that's why reflection is so important. Mr. Table Topics Master.
Beautiful. Yes. Great. You know, it's funny you said that because I feel like a lot of people lose sight of their purpose in life. And like, even with myself, I joined the Navy just to add to what you're saying. You're going to school for a specific purpose, right? But when it got hard, you almost forgot that why you were there. And then you're just thinking about the day-to-day struggle. Same with me in the Navy. I'm gonna be real with you. The Navy's annoying to me. I joined like a couple months ago, and at this point, I'm like, yo, I can't wait till it's over. And I got another 4 years. But then I had to keep reminding myself, why did I originally join? Like, I'm here for a specific purpose. And I feel like everybody, like, if you have a purpose, you got to remember what that purpose is. So nothing we do is for no reason, you know? So just work through it. Great job. All right. So the idea of gratitude is that you express, oh, my bad. The idea of gratuity is that you express your gratitude monetarily. What is the purpose in expressing that to others? So I'll say it again. The idea of gratuity, giving tips, is that you express your gratitude monetarily. You give them money to say, I thank you for your service. What is the purpose in expressing that to others? Let's shoot this over to Cleo.
Can you repeat the question again?
I got you. The idea of gratuity, giving tips, is that you express your gratitude monetarily. What is the purpose in expressing gratitude to others? Or why is it so important to express gratitude? Yeah.
I think it's very important. Great question. I think it's very important to express gratitude because who doesn't like to know that they're valued? I try to do that at work all the time. For example, my job, we emphasize that. Like every month or every couple of months, they'll send out a post highlighting people who've done a great job, and you can nominate people, and it is a great way to let everybody know in the organization what everybody's doing, their impact, and that they're valued. And that's being valued is one of the things that keeps me in my job, is to know that they value me, and to know that my coworkers value me, and I value their work. So expressing that gratitude is one of those things. It just helps with morale, and also you feel good yourself. I think when you say something positive to the other person, I think it also reflects back on you, and it makes you feel good. So showing gratitude, one, great for morale. Two, it also reflects positively back onto yourself. I think it helps with your mood, and it's just you get a great feeling out of it. Thank you very much.
Thank you for that, Cleo. You know, the funny thing is, a long time ago, I learned that a natural law in life is the more you give, the more you receive. So it's like the more if you want to feel positive, if you want to feel good about yourself, make somebody else feel good, and then suddenly you feel good yourself. So it's just like you said, if you give value to somebody, make them feel good, that in turn is going to be repaid to you. Just like third law of motion, action, reaction, right there. All right, awesome. For my next question, when was the last time you did something for someone and they didn't show you gratitude? How did you feel, and why did you feel that way? So that is, when was the last time you did something for someone, they didn't show you gratitude, they didn't appreciate it? How'd that make you feel, and why did you feel that way? I'm gonna give this to my man Franz.
Thank you. Hey, Last time, when was the last time I've done something gratitude for someone and didn't appreciate it and how it makes me feel? To be quite honest, I cannot recall presently in this moment of development, but prior to reaching this platform where I'm at now, yes, it was not feeling being validated and used to create a rift in my consciousness. But having realized, come to the realization that my beingness depended on myself, and having done whatever for somebody else, it's considered a gift from beyond my immediate self, but an opportunity for my growth. Acceptance on their part validated my perception, but if they choose to ignore it, I realize it's their prerogative and their privilege. And that also enriched me to remind myself to do better. Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Nice. That was great, Franz. And that's actually very important. You shouldn't, how do I say, you should never feel entitled. Like if you do something for somebody, you should never feel as though you need something back from them. You do it to do it. You do it out of the kindness of your heart. So it's like you said, their prerogative, whether they want to appreciate you for it or not. You just keep moving and you just keep doing well for everyone else in the world. I'm gonna shoot one at you, T. I know you're new, so I'm gonna give you something easy. Just
Wait, I thought that I was excluded out if I had 2 jobs. No, I'm not. Okay. Okay.
I'll give you. It'll be an easy one. I got you.
I don't know. That's what they said the last 2 times. I was a little stumped and I went over time. Okay, I'll go for it.
So what is the best way to show your gratitude? And how have you done this in your life? What is the best way to show your gratitude?
The best way to show your gratitude is to pretty much appreciate what the person has done and use it. For instance, I have a parent that she buys me all this stuff for my house, and it's the stuff that I really, really like. And I felt like the appreciation is to show that I really took the time to find a place for it, to decorate my house around it. So sometimes if a person gives you that gratitude and they really take the time, sometimes you really have to use it and really take advantage of it. Just don't say thank you and okay, this is going in the closet. Like really find a place for it that you can use it. Because sometimes if I see that I've done something for someone and it actually helped them and they actually were able to use it, to me, then that's like the greatest appreciation to me. And I feel it vice versa to the same thing. I would appreciate if a person did use my gift or my gestures.
That was nice. You know, it's funny you say that because I do feel a lot of people feel as though it stops at thank you. Oh, I appreciate what you gave me, so thank you very much, and that's it. I'll even say for myself, sometimes people will get me clothes, and I would say, hey, thank you, much appreciated. And then the next day they see me, they're like, oh, you didn't wear that shirt. I got you. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I'll wear it. Don't worry. And I never get to it. But that's one of those things. Like, even if, let's say, if it's somebody that's important to you, like, for example, my mom, sometimes when you're going to go see them, put the shirt on. It just makes them feel better knowing that you appreciated what they gave you. So that was nice. That was a good little nugget. Thank you. Yeah. For the next question, the greatest thing to appreciate in life is life. How do you think someone should show their appreciation of life? It's a pretty deep question. So I'm going to throw that to Georgie.
Journey. Thank
I got 2 more questions. So this one's going to go to Andrew.
One more.
Say what?
One more.
One more question? My bad. I'm pushing. All right. So this last question is going to go to Andrew. What was your most recent blessing that you're grateful for, and why was it important?
Wow. Well, as many of you know, I recently have relocated myself to the wonderful city of Erie, Pennsylvania. And I had a lot of people help make that possible. I had a friend that actually came down from Maryland to help me with my U-Haul truck and backing it up and get it on the road. I even had Zach come out and help load it up. Appreciate you, man. I really do. And I had people like Elizabeth Claire and my friend Daniel and his aunt Gigi. They all helped me out financially in getting everything together so that I could move to be with my adopted son and basically get a fresh start in my life, because I as much as I love you all, I cannot be in Virginia Beach anymore. And if the recent weather has been any indication, yeah, y'all were from 114 degree heat index to a hurricane. I am so happy I don't have any of that up here. Yeah. But I am grateful for all that everyone has done for me, and they continue to look out for me even today. And that is something to truly show my gratitude for. Mr. Toastmaster.
That's awesome. I'm glad you were able to run away from these weather conditions. I moved over here from Florida, where it's all humidity and hurricanes back to back. And it turns out I'm still here in Florida because we're experiencing the same type of weather. I don't know what's going on, but it's a great thing that you are able to relocate. You do have friends that can help you move. And that's one of those things, man, like everyone needs to count their blessings, like the smallest to the greatest. I feel like a lot of people in life think that you're only blessed if you get exactly what you want, but you're blessed when you can freaking move to Pennsylvania and something doesn't happen to you on the way there, you know? So it's just another thing to think about. So next, what we'll be doing is our timers report. So I'm gonna pass this off for that. Thank you.
For table topics, Hans, 1 minute, 8 seconds. David, 1 minute, 9 seconds. Robert, 2 minutes, 11 seconds. Cleo, 1 minute, 29 seconds. Franz, 1 minute, 31 seconds. T, I have 1:19. I'm not really sure the exact time. I was interrupted, but the timer kept going, and then I know that Jamard came in at the end there and was talking, so I'm not real sure, but okay. And Jorny, 1 minute, 29 seconds, and Andrew, 1 minute, 28 seconds. Mr. Toastmaster.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Timer. Can I get a quick vote on your favorite table topics of the evening? Everybody cast their vote? Awesome.
Waiting on one more person.
Okay.
All right. Voting is done.
Okay, great. So real quick, feeling gratitude and not expressing it is like wrapping a present and not giving it. So real quick, I just want to be I'm thankful for everyone here tonight. I appreciate all of you in your own unique ways. And I love the value that you've given me and I've given to you, if that's, a thing. I mean, in some ways, I'm sort of, speaking out off the cuff here, but, I just want to thank everyone. And without further ado, we're going to flip it over to Andrew, General Evaluator. Andrew Bullock.
All right. It is now time for our evaluation portion of the meeting. As I mentioned earlier, reevaluate everything. And one of the first things to reevaluate is our speeches. So, to get it started, I will call on our individual speech evaluators, starting with Hans-Peter Johidle, who is evaluating Frans Selmpure.
Good evening, Mr. General Evaluator, fellow Toastmasters, and especially Frans. Tonight's speech, Imagine, is the first of a two-part series where the second part is where he will incorporate the feedback that I'm giving him tonight. So hopefully I will give him some good feedback that he can incorporate into the second portion of this speech. Now, what a profound question to start off the first speech that I've seen him give. A universal statement that basically drives me crazy when I've tried to answer it myself. It's an enormous question that we're here in this planet, this blue-green planet floating in space, that has implications for all of us. It's not just in the larger sense of it, it is also in the echoes what we're seeing in the world today, from COVID-19 to Black Lives Matter, to all the other questions that are facing not just the United States, but everybody on this planet as a whole. But it's not just that friends are talking about the larger concept, though. He's also addressing the fact, what is he doing about it? He realizes that as a singular person, he is not very impactful. So he's talking about that we need to do this as a group, and it doesn't matter how we do it or who, as long as we do it together. Now, there's a couple things that I would like to point out. You started out the speech kind of rolling along. I would like you to get out there and just get the profound statement out to begin with. Have you ever thought about the profound statement of this? Secondly, you started out with an apology because you said you hadn't memorized your speech. And you also used the word forgiveness in your speech. Don't do that. It is our privilege to listen to you speak, to listen to you speak about such a profound topic that you talked about. Now, there's one other last thing that I'd like to talk a little bit about, and it's about, I sent Frans a question before the evening got started about where he was born and raised. Now, he promptly ignored me, but Robert Riggs rotted you out. It's about the fact that we were both born outside the United States. And I grew up with the challenge of being, and I see the red card up there, I'm going to go over it, so you might as well just take it down. To learning to speak correctly, which Frans did. If you listen to his words, he used very precise words with very precise meanings. That is one of the things, a hallmark of somebody who has learned to speak English as a second language. But also does not encumber you with phrases such as like, you know, which you do not use in your speech. It was a privilege to listen to you speak tonight. I hope you take whatever I've given you with a grain of salt and incorporate it and do your next speech even better than the one you gave tonight. Mr. General Evaluator.
All right, thank you, Hans. All right. Our second speaker, John Gregory, will be evaluated by none other than Andrew Bullock. So let's hear from Andrew Bullock. Fellow Toastmasters, and especially, well, let's just say Reverend John Gregory, you have preached to us today. Now, you're working out of your pathway, project 2, evaluation and feedback. And this is the second speech in your evaluation and feedback project. The idea here is to take feedback that you got from your first evaluation and apply it to your second speech. And that is something that you did. You came up with a different speech from your previous speech, which was Danger Dan. And what you did was you created a title that was adequate to your speech. That was one of the main points of feedback that Tiffany Dunbar had given you when she evaluated you back in July. And I appreciate you for actually following through on her suggestion. Now, as far as your delivery of this speech, you had excellent clarity and excellent audience awareness, and you kept everybody interested. Everybody was on the edge of their seat. I'm sure you got a lot of positive feedback. In fact, I noticed somebody in the comments even said, "Preach it, brother." So you actually did apply the feedback and you delivered an excellent speech. Now, a couple things to work on. I could not evaluate your gestures or your eye contact, and this is just a simple issue. When you are using Zoom on your phone, when you switch out of the Zoom app, it freezes your video. So when your video is frozen, you really can't see what you're doing, you can't see what's going on with you. Now, in the future, if you have to read your speech, I would encourage you to get a second device to look at, or at least print it out, so that when you are using your phone to give your presentation, we can still see you speak or use your gestures and things of that nature. So you can tell the difference between whether you're reading your notes or, actually looking at us or looking at your camera specifically. But that's the only note that I really had. And I would challenge you to actually find an environment where you can be a little bit more comfortable outside of being in your car. I know your car is a safe space, but there are opportunities for you to engage in your presentation from other locations that might take you a little bit out of your comfort zone. And that's important when you become a speaker, because when you're able to operate in any environment where you're not comfortable, that is professionalism. But you did an excellent job in your presentation, and I look forward to seeing more. Mr. Johnny Evaluator. All right. Moving on to our next evaluator, we have Cleo Robertson, who is evaluating Journey Bacala. Cleo.
Thank you, and greetings, General Evaluator, fellow Toastmasters, and guests who may be viewing this on YouTube in the future. I have the pleasure of evaluating Journey Bacala in her Present a Proposal Pathways project. I would like to point out 4 to 5 excellent things that she did in her speech. Number 1, it was awesome to see a visual element on the screen. So I love the PowerPoint that you presented. And I like the screenshot that you showed of the questionnaire buddy list and the screenshot of this questionnaire. Number 2, your vocal variety. You used great emphasis, you had great emphasis on the appropriate words in your speech. And number 3, your volume was very appropriate and you were loud and clear. Number 4, I love seeing your hand gestures as you were emphasizing your points. Lastly, but certainly not least, I love that you brought on an assistant, Toastmaster Robert Riggs, to help you with an example. So it was great use of the audience. What you may want to work on is eye contact. It may have had something to do with the camera angle, because I was looking up at you. It's sort of, or maybe you were also looking at your screen when you were showing your PowerPoint, and I also have to work on that myself, but maybe just work on your eye contact And number 2 would be verbal pauses. My favorite verbal pause is so, and it seems like your favorite verbal pause is so working on that. And to challenge you, while I do like that you use a PowerPoint, there was one slide in there where I was a bit distracted. You had a picture with some words on it. It was like a speech bubble. Let me show it to you on the screen right quick. I was trying to read it at the same time that you were speaking. So maybe in the future, maybe you can use different pictures or pictures where like less words are on there. Otherwise, I might be reading your slide versus listening to you as you do your speech. This is also very important in the Zoom environment because the PowerPoint was really huge on my screen. So I was just like reading everything on your screen and not necessarily hearing everything that you were saying at the same time. But overall, this was a great proposal, great speech, and thank you for all the hard work that you're doing for the club. And I look forward to you keeping me and the rest of the club on our toes. Back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, Cleo. All right. Now, finally, our final evaluation is a little unique. This, instead of being a speech evaluation, is an evaluation of our table topics master. Mr. Robert Riggs, please give us your evaluation of Jay Boscott's table topic session.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. I'm actually the special evaluator for the evening. As you can see next to the title of my name, I'm special. I am going to comment on Jay's table topics. I've actually done table topics so many different times that people have asked me to step down as table topics master. They said we've created a rule where Robert can't give a table topics during a like a party or anything like that. So I love table topics, and you did a fantastic job. I can tell when people are doing a great job or when people are doing a like a, you really should have gotten somebody to coach you job. This is your first time, and you easily, I would put you at least above average, if not pretty darn good. So just that off the bat, for doing it for your first time, great job, okay? I've rarely seen anybody do that good of a job their first time. Jordan did a pretty darn good job her first time. You did a pretty darn good job your first time. There's a couple things I want to point out as good. First thing, you had a warm and simple welcome. I loved that. When you come in as table topics master, you kind of be like, here's what's going on, everybody. This is what we're getting into. Let's get into it. You did that. You were warm and simple and inviting into that fashion. I love that. The second thing is this is the part of active listening that was important. You had some great follow-up. So every single time somebody did something or gave it a question, you had actual follow-up. I will say that towards the end, you did get a little bit long-winded. I was like, was it their table topics question or your table topics question? Because I was like, with Jordan in particular, I was just like, Jordan spoke for how long and Jay spoke for how long? We timing Jay too. So definitely, at the beginning though, it was perfect. You were like 15, 20, 30 seconds. Try to do 3 to 5 sentences. Anytime you have a follow-up, 3 to 5, 1 paragraph, call it a day, move on to the next person. And then the last thing was great questions. Your questions were beautiful in terms of how they blended with the theme. Sometimes the themes do not lean well or to actually having a good topic. The topic does not lean into having good questions, but you actually had fantastic questions that connected to the topic. So really good job there. I want to say a couple things here that I do think you could do better on. Only like maybe 2-3 times did you actually say the question twice. It really helps people if you hear the question twice. The follow-up to the question, like let's say it's a 1 sentence and then there's a question. The follow-up can be one part, but then the question can be asked twice. So you can save a little time there. But I would say always say the question twice. The second thing is you called on France and Jorny. Now, I'm not sure why. I know we've got 12 people tonight, but 3 of those people are speakers, and one of them is you. You can't call on yourself, unfortunately. That leaves 8 other people, like, I don't know, Lee Walker or Admin Cleo, that you can call on. These people were not speakers tonight, so try to call on people who don't have speaking roles. And if you even have enough people, don't even call on the Toastmaster, the evening, or the general evaluator if you can help it. So work on that. And the last thing is, even though I said warm and simple welcome, I'm going to say be more over the top and bubbly And the reason you're going to be more over the top and bubbly is because you're Toastmaster of the evening. This is your moment to be the MC. So try to be the MC, not only in this, but in everything. Be more expressive. Don't be an officer in the military. Be bubbly. Mr. General Evaluator.
Thank you, Mr. Special. Can I get a timer's report, please?
Evaluations. Hans, 4 minutes, 18 seconds. Andrew, 3 minutes, 9 seconds. Cleo, 2 minutes, 48 seconds. And Robert, 3 minutes, 39 seconds.
Two disqualifications.
Let me
So
redo
Andrew and
Hey,
Cleo.
Let me
I
redo
finally did a Robert Riggs.
Let me redo the poll right quick.
Yeah, go ahead. All right, we'll see those results at the end of the meeting. All right, so now we'll move into the general evaluation portion of the meeting, and we'll start with roll reports. It seems our grammarian eye counter did not show up, so I did take some notes, not many, and I did them mentally, so bear with me here. As far as our eye counter report is concerned, we're all guilty, all of us, even me. And let's just leave it at that. We all have those filler words that we need to be aware of. And one of the tips that we can give for avoiding filler words, when we feel that urge to say or and or so, we should pause and continue on with our thought. Pausing is very effective when you're trying to find your place. Give yourself a moment to breathe, let yourself find your place so that you can continue speaking. Because it's not absolutely necessary for us to fill the air with words so that we can continue talking. It's okay to pause. As far as the grammarian portion, I felt that we all had excellent grammar and use of the English language, and I didn't take any notes on the excellent uses of grammar, but I will say that I applaud T on her choice of the word of the day, kismet, although I didn't catch anybody using it, but we'll get her report here in a minute. Because the whole purpose of the word of the day is for us to explore our vocabulary and use words that are unfamiliar to us and use them correctly. So it's always a challenge for all of us to incorporate the word of the day in anything that we do in our speeches or our table topics or whatever. And that covers the grammarian eye counter report. T, how did we do with the word master and listen up portions?
With the word, okay, so now I have to ask you the questions, right? All right.
You can start with your word master report first and then go into the questions.
Wait, I'm sorry, can you explain that part to me again?
So first you give your report on how many people actually used the word of the day if you were keeping track.
No one used it. So that was zero. No one used it except for me.
So now everybody can unmute themselves, and T, you can go ahead and fire off your questions.
Okay, so I'm going down the line, so excuse me, I took notes, but it's chicken scrap a little bit, so bear with me. Okay, so the first one is, I'm not familiar with these apps, but people are using it. The restaurant is doing better than it did before. It's an inspiration to use technology.
That was not Lee Walker.
That was absolutely Lee Walker.
That was him. That was him. Okay, so the next question I have is, acknowledge the good foundation of your life. It was Helen Keller.
Oh, that was France that had Helen Keller. It was France, right? No, okay. It was
no,
John,
it wasn't
right?
France.
No, it was John.
The next one is imagine the 6-letter word that gives me a challenge. Why are we here, and what are we doing about it?
That
was France, but imagine is 7 letters.
You're right. So where did I get the 6-letter word? I heard that part of the speech. And okay, the next one is, one door happiness closed and another one is open. You decide to ignore that dream that is your dream.
John Gregory.
John Gregory. Good.
John.
Yeah. And then I also have you can't quit. You deserve to go grow your garden.
That was John Gregory.
And then I have, of course, we have our goals beyond Toastmasters, creating accountability partners. And then we have the 14 questions where we will keep each other accountable.
It wasn't Johnny. I think it was Andrew.
Johnny.
It was Johnny.
Okay.
And then I have another person that said, I'm looking as good as a thick bowl of oatmeal.
John gave me that one. John, that's pretty good. The effort to lose weight.
Okay, and then I have another one that said, I'm grateful for living in the U.S. It's the greatest country in the world.
Hans the Hungarian.
Right. And then also it says, I have another one that says, keep reminding yourself of your purpose. It's natural for you to look away your purpose, but as long as you figure out your purpose. I'm quoting it. I did notes, but I scribbled a little. But pretty much I joined the Navy, and sometimes I hate the Navy, so I have to remember what my purpose is.
Jay.
Yeah.
All day, every day, Jay.
Yes. And then we had another person that said, families, we take them for granted. We live and work and wake up with them. We're used to them always being around. We need to widen our scope of thinking.
Mr. David Martin.
David.
Correct. And then another person said, reflection is another form of prayer.
Ooh. Robert Riggs.
Robert.
Yeah, that was Robert. That was deep, Robert, for you. My thick bowl of grits. I meant to say thick bowl of oatmeal.
That's better.
Okay, let's see. I have one too. Who doesn't like to know that they are valued? We emphasize it, highlighting great jobs, and it helps with morale.
Jordan.
Huh?
Oh, Cleo, yeah.
Cleo said that, correct.
Oh, Cleo.
And then another person said, how we can help things is by not complaining for things we can control.
Dorney.
Correct.
Dorney.
Georgie.
And then we had another person that told us that they relocated to Erie, Pennsylvania, and happy that they don't have to live the Virginia life with hurricanes and tornadoes.
I never once said the word tornadoes.
I added on for you. And then we had another, we had one more, I have two more for you. Then I have another one that said, the opportunity for my growth. If you choose to ignore it, that's your prerogative. I'll do better.
Is that right?
That was John.
John.
No,
Yeah.
That was Hans.
That was, oh, yeah.
Okay, then the last one I have is, it's our privilege
Who's
to
that
hear
knocking
you
on the door?
speak.
That was Hans.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh.
All right, that's all I have.
Very good.
Thank you, T.
Oh, you're welcome.
Awesome.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Lee, for being our timer this evening. Thank you for stepping up at the last minute. And now we'll go into the general evaluation. Our meeting started on time, and our Toastmaster evening did a fantastic job staying organized and staying on task. He put out a wonderful email that let us know what he intended to do and how he intended to do it. And that's something that we should always look forward to, that email letting us know about our next meeting to help build that anticipation. Our helpers actually did their job. They stayed on task. Although Lee was momentarily distracted, we didn't have to know about that, Lee. It's all good, though. And going into our evaluators, our evaluations, I felt, were very effective today. They all focused on three things, which they should always focus on. What we excelled at, what we can do to improve for the next time, and a challenge for us for the next time. It is always important that it's the format of our evaluations, and it helps us build our skills as Toastmasters as we continue on to speak. So we know what we're already strong at, what we need to work on, and what else we can do to make it even more challenging for us. And I like that our evaluations did that. One thing to keep in mind when giving an evaluation, though, let's not focus so much on the content of the speech, but just the delivery of it. There are certain evaluations that you have to evaluate certain portions of content, but it's not necessary to give feedback or opinion on the actual speech itself, the subject matter, as it were. But we can evaluate how they stayed on topic with their project. For example, with the research and presenting, focus on whether or not they stated their sources, for example, because that is an important part of the research and presenting project. But as far as the content is concerned, we already heard the speech. There's no need to reiterate anything, or we can use it for examples when we're pointing out things that can be improved upon or things that they did well in the speech. Other than that, I think this meeting came together really well. We're a little short-handed tonight. I mean, this is probably our lowest attendance in a while, but we still made this meeting fun, productive, and it all gave us an opportunity to grow. So with that, I will turn the meeting back over to our Toastmaster evening to close us out and pass us off to the president. Back to you, Zach.
Okay. Thank you, General Evaluator. That was a great summation of this meeting. Great points, and I just want to once again say thank you for so many things in my life, amongst which is Toastmasters and the ability to give speeches in front of a public forum, and just like I actually see week for week at honest growth, and it's just a great feeling to have that. So without further ado, Robert Riggs, the president.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster of the evening. We are about to close out our night. We got to go through a couple things first. First things first, as a gentle reminder to TT, you are, is it okay if I say T or TT?
Yeah, you can say TT, it's fine.
All right, TT. You are coming out later, or tonight you're staying on, right, with Andrew and I, so we can take you through your orientation as well as the pathway stuff, right? Correct? Yes, no?
See?
You're muted. TT, you're muted. You still coming in tonight? You still muted? All right, cool. So I think she's still coming tonight. But Jay, I was saying earlier about the dues. Since we are trying to get the dues, are you still good to hold on for just maybe like 5 or 10 minutes after and take care of them?
Yeah.
Okay. David, do you feel the same way?
Say it again. I missed that.
Your dues. We're just trying to, because we can't meet physically. We're just trying after the meeting. We're just trying to get a couple people to stay on if they can get their dues paid. Is that okay, or do you want to wait till later?
I'll wait till later.
Okay, we'll ask you in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
So, all right. So that was that. So 2 out of 3, and then the next thing is birthday. We only have one August birthday, unless T. What is your birthday, by the way? What is your birthday, T? Meetings next week, Andrew. Real quick, I need you to go ahead and pull it up. What do we need settled for next week?
We need everything
Except speakers.
except speakers. These are our upcoming meetings. We have speakers. We don't have Toastmaster, Training Evaluator, Grammarian, an counter, Word Master, Listen Up, Timer, Topics Master, Evaluator 1, Evaluator 2, Evaluator 3, Evaluator 4.
We do have a hip pocket speaker though next week.
Yeah, we have a hip pocket speaker. So
I'm there because I don't know if my speech is going to be ready, so I put it there.
Valid point.
That is completely understandable.
Once we'll take the timer.
So, if needed, you can, if needed, I'm supposed to give my first HPL speech next week. So if needed, you can take me off. I'll do anything except Toastmaster of the evening and General Evaluator.
I have somebody in mind for Toastmaster evening, but I want to see if anyone wants to volunteer first. Any volunteers?
I think David unmuted himself to volunteer.
Rob, what did I tell you about volunteering people?
Fair enough.
See, I can do that. Cleo Robertson, would you be interested in being Toastmaster of the evening? Yeah, I see you shaking your head. Have you actually been Toastmaster evening
I
before?
have. I haven't even written my speech yet, and I don't. It's a lot of work to be Toastmaster of the evening and also write my speech. So
Look on the bright side. If you actually don't do your speech for the next week, and you set aside time to work on it while being Toastmaster evening, you actually have yourself scheduled to speak on the 25th, which gives you an extra 2 weeks to prepare for your speech.
I still don't want to do that.
All right.
Sorry.
Yes, that's no biggie. Jay, will you still be with us, or will you be back out to sea?
Jay's giving a speech.
All right.
Yeah, I got a speech next
I'm
week.
looking right at it. Don't worry, I'll find us a Toastmaster evening. Be aware. All right. That's all I have for right now. Yep. Back to you, Rob.
Okay. I think I'm missing one last thing, am I not?
Yes.
One final thing.
Yeah, awards.
Awards, that's right. The one thing I always say for the end, because it's the most awesomest part. It's the part where we actually get to recognize who won. Yes, we vote based upon time. So for example, if the 5 people speak and 4 people are disqualified, then 1 person automatically wins. But alternatively, if 5 people speak and 1 person disqualifies, then we have to vote on 4 people to see who wins. This is very much competition style. We've got speaker, table topics, and evaluator. I'm going to go with our best table topics first, mainly because he already signed off. So without further ado, our best table topics was, drum roll please. I want to hear like lots of emphasis here. Come on, drum roll everybody. Mr. Hans Peter Johidley, congratulations. You can't hear us because you're off the line, but he won. So next person is best evaluator. This best evaluator is either Andrew or Cleo. I thought it'd been hilarious if they both co-won again this week, but that was not the case. So I'd like a drum roll, please, for who won best evaluator. I don't hear a drum roll. Come on now, drum roll. Come on, Zach, drum roll. Come on, Lee, you have to unmute yourself and drum roll.
But
It was Mr. Andrew Bullock. You beat Cleo. Congratulations, Mr. Andrew Bullock, for winning Best Evaluator. Here's your virtual ribbon, sir. I didn't have to cut it in half this week. And then finally, we have our best speaker of the evening, our best speaker. Now, everybody qualified, if I'm not mistaken, for best speaker. So who actually won? This is a legitimate competition. We had 3 speakers. And I'd like drum roll, please. John, who's also not on the call, won Best Speaker. So congratulations, John, for winning Best Speaker again. 2 weeks in a row, or no, this week, and no, it was 2 weeks in a row, wasn't it? I can't remember. That boy's won so many times, I can't remember. So point is, Best Speaker. So last thing is, we are meeting again next week, next Tuesday. That's where we meet 1st, 2nd, and 4th. So next Tuesday is our 2nd Tuesday. We're meeting next Tuesday. Anybody have any last minute thoughts or phrases before? Everybody else, virtual gavel. You'll have a wonderful evening. Good night.
Thank you.
Very cute, David. Very cute.